Happy Patch Tuesday, everybody. We are here for another month's Fix Tuesday on this side of the house. Yeah, we've got we got a few exploited in the wild here, so I think we're just gonna Seth, you know me, we're gonna cue the music, and then we're just gonna jump into this. Okay, and we're back. Yeah, so I'm just gonna dive straight in here this month. This one's more of a nuisance than it is more of a just I don't know. Yeah, it's just more of a nuisance. We got CVE 2026-21525. It's a Windows Remote Access Connection Manager denial of service vulnerability. Now, this is super annoying. Basically, an attacker can get a foothold as like a standard or non-admin user, and even through like a phishing hook or some malicious browser extension. And basically, if the device relies on a VPN connection for secure communication with corporate like networks and whatnot, they can basically run a small script that triggers a crash by interacting with the RAS manager, and it's really more of a disruptive thing than it is vicious, so to speak. But I think it's one of those things that's kind of like creates chaos in like a large organization. I mean, if you somehow get to attack a wide array of these devices, or even if you got a foothold on an internal server or something like that, you could cause like a complete blackout from these devices. Especially, I mean, a lot of these like persistent always on VPNs, they have like a fail open or fail close thing. So if you crash the VPN server, then you're just killing network to all these devices. You can't even get access to them to like patch or automate, anything like that. So that one's kind of interesting. I don't know, Seth, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, with those nuisance things, like you can also think of it almost as like a DDoS to your help desk. You're creating a bunch of
Yeah.
chaos, and you got people just wrapping up your help desk, and therefore freeing up potentially other vectors of attack for something else. They can use it as like a
Yeah.
two-pronged attack kind of situation. Where you're tying up resources with one thing, and then you're gonna swing in with something different. There's all kinds of things you can do with the chaos attacks.
Yeah. Chaos engineering. Yeah. Yeah. Just distract everyone with a massive blackout of devices, and then, use one of these other CVEs to like attack a server, exfil data, stuff like that. I mean, just distract and destroy. Yeah, there are no workarounds for this. Microsoft has confirmed like you just have to apply the patch. So depending on what your patching cadences are, there's really, you could monitor the RAS manager service for unexpected like restarts or something like that. I would think if you're looking for a patching strategy, prioritize VPN users first. Maybe you have a lot of in-office devices that don't actually use any secure connections. There's like on the network, but any remote users, move to patch as fast as you can, because you don't want like something like this triggering, a blackout of users, but also if you're using any servers that use RRAS, it could take down automations that you have running, things like that. I'm just trying to think like out of the box on how this could like have a larger blast radius. So, but yeah, so that's that's that one. But Seth, what about you? What did you
Yeah,
bring to the
so
table today?
yeah, so another one that is being exploited in the wild. This is actually kind of a two-in-one. So this is 2026 21510, and then 2026 21514. So the one I'm specifically going to be speaking on is the 21510, which is a Windows Shell security feature bypass vulnerability. and in this case, the security feature being SmartScreen. So, as you know, SmartScreen is what pops up to kind of prevent you, like, hey, this is happening. Do you want this to happen or no? So basically, just in a nutshell, what this bug or vulnerability is doing is it is allowing an attacker to bypass that SmartScreen. So, the implications for that are being able to execute things in Windows Shell, or the other one is Microsoft Word, being able to kind of bypass that security feature of saying, like, yes, I want this to happen, or no, I don't. Something executing from the internet completely bypasses that, allowing that whatever that code is to run. That can be some type of code or foothold to get into the system. Basically whatever they want at that point. But this does require user interaction. So, like, this isn't some magic bullet to immediately get into somebody's system. There does still have to be user interaction, whether your typical phishing link, hey, here's a link, go open this, whatever they want to do there, does still need user interaction. So it's not like, attacker can just be like, hit enter and go, like they do in the movies.
It's always the users. It's always the users.
So, always got to watch out for that. That's always the big one is watch out for phishing. And we know that phishing is really ramping up lately with AI and everything. You can make really, really convincing emails, from the company that you work for, or Amazon or PayPal or whatever the case is. You can make really convincing phishing emails now with AI and things like that, and attackers are utilizing that. But I mean, that's basically it for that one. It's nothing special. I did want to talk about it because it is affecting Windows Shell and Microsoft Word, and exploitation has been detected in the wild. So I mean, that's I think we know the implications. You can get the initial access, you can install malware, things like that. So with detections, you can with a good SIM. You can run detections on this. You can, from like command.exe or PowerShell. You can monitor certain things on those to see if this is happening. Mitigations, would be your typical patching, hardening, things like that. Just all the basic stuff that we always talk about, and other security professionals talking about. Just keep your logs up to date, keep your systems up to date, and do hardening on your endpoints, things like that. So, nothing too crazy, but this is in the wild being exploited. So just wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. I think about that a lot because, like, that's a good point to bring up. AI really has set the bar of entry to some of these like lower level attacks that can like be chained into larger ones super low. Like just being able to craft an email on the fly really quickly. Like, I don't know, it doesn't take as much skill anymore to like
No,
make it believable.
the bar of entry is so low now for getting into things like this. And we were already in a situation kind of pre-AI where there were a lot of younger people,
Script kiddies.
Getting into this and becoming big. You got ransomware and things like that. Like it was already starting earlier and earlier with the newest generation. And now with AI, I mean, you could have one person. I don't want to give anybody any ideas, but like you can have one person essentially be an entire team. With AI, you build a couple AI agents, and you can use those and make them nefarious. And you got a whole team of little script kiddie hackers. Nothing crazy elaborate. If you don't have the know-how, but you can get some teenager that once it gets started and they just run with it. And they start trying to get in, and they might be successful.
Look, I'm not trying to age myself here too much, but like I was not learning programming in high school. I think I was like just learning networking, but like now we have agentic hacking like that teenagers can do. It's just like I would have been maybe not in a malicious manner, but like I would have been all over that in high school. Like
Yeah, but I've always been a dork. So I was like, oh man, what is a C++? This looks pretty cool. Said no one ever, but that was me in high school. So I've been with it for a while.
Yeah, no, I was networking the gaming lab to play, Counter-Strike 1.5 or something like that. It was- but yeah, everyone be safe out there. Patch your stuff. These are actively being exploited. At the very minimum, it could disrupt the heck out of your operations. At the very maximum, you could have a full-on remote code execution situation going on. So, yeah, I hope you all have a great February and stay safe out there.
We'll see you next month.